So I've made a few tiny little tweaks, mainly to this value here. So I've set the small steps to be 0.5, so there should be a better blend between small steps, walking forward, and then eventually getting back to the idle pose. I've also tweaked a little bit with the character controllers so that his feet look like they're making more contact with the floor. So I'll show you there. So a little better. And what I'm going to do is hit play and just to show you that it's still all functional, all working nice, and it's just a bit smoother. So rather than being quite linear, you're getting this. You get more of a blend between the animations. So I'm coming to a pause. And then he gets back into his idle pose. Obviously I need to look at the skinning as well of the character. It's not a huge problem, it's something quite quick. So the next thing that we're going to look at is adding in some additional functionalities. So what we're going to do is right click, add state, and this is now going to go from idle, movement, and then this next action is going to be run. So what we're going to do is run, create this new attribute there, movement, add transition to run. We're just going to link that up there to run. So what we'll do now is add transition back to movement. So basically what will happen is you go walking, you press a specific key, it'll then trigger the run animation. And what we need to do is we need to then add this functionality. So what we're going to do, action browser, get key down. So get key down, you can see there. And I'll just drag and drop that, much easier. And then what we're going to do is select the key. In this case what we'll do is we'll use spacebar. That's fine. Send event, it's going to go to run. And then what we'll do is maybe get key down, or actually get key up. So return, get key up, which one? Spacebar, send event to movement. So basically what should happen is when we're running or moving, and you should see this update quite nicely within this little, we're holding it down, I've released it, holding it down, released it. Obviously no animation's been applied to it yet. I might actually change that key because it's a little bit, it's not too bad when you're playing it, I guess. Right, okay, so you can see there I'm pressing it down, toggling between the two, and it's working quite well. So when it's down, and when it's up, when it's down, it's up. Right, so that's working. So what we need to do now is we need to, this is a button. So when we're pressing a button, we need to then trigger it from a walk to another animation. So what we need to do, create state, empty. This is now going to be run. As opposed to using a blend tree, what we're going to do is this is just going to directly link into another animation. So right click, make transition to this animation, right click, make transition back to the walk. So this is now going to be called run. And we need to create a new parameter. In this case, it's an off or an on parameter. So what we need to do is plug in a bool. So this we're just going to call run. So this is going to now link up. So condition, add this condition, run. So if it's true, i.e. if it's being pressed, move forward into this animation here. If it's released, then go back to the walk. So what we need to do is just plug in our animation. So go back to animations, let's look for a run animation. Where are we at? Sprint, run forward, that'd be a good one. Let's just make sure it loops. See there's a little bit of a pause. So what we need to do, and as well it doesn't really do a lot of animation there, so we might need to trim that down a bit. So go edit. Again, let's just go to loop time, loop pause. It's starting off a little bit slow, so we want to get a good keyframe, maybe where his foot's just about to make contact with the floor, that one there, and then just pull this back so we can kind of see his foot. So there we go. So we've got a pretty decent looping animation there. Hit apply. Lovely. Run forward. So that's the first part of it done. So now what we need to do is get key down. It's going to push us into this next transition. What we need to do is then tell the animator what we want to do with it. So we need to look for animator bool. So we need to set the animator bool. So just hit return. And what we need to do is set to run. And the value is true, so it's on. So it's going to push it into the run animation. I'm just going to then delete that one. It keeps duplicating them. And again, with exit time, turn that off, turn that off. So what should basically happen is running, back to walk. So what should happen as well, let's just double check this. It should just blend nice and seamlessly. We will see though. So I'm holding space there, there's a bit of a delay. Right, so I need to look at that. But it's triggering the animation. Obviously the movement and things like that aren't there, so we need to just look at those. So remember, we're moving through all these different states, so all we had in the run state was checking if the key's up. It's just gonna, let's just set this to set that everything off. Okay, and then what we need to do is get access, control a simple move, smooth look at direction. Just make sure that we've carried over all these values. We shouldn't. Let's just see what we get, and then I'll explain sort of what we've done there. So there we go, we're running now. Okay, that works. You can see there, it's looping through those animations and it's blending quite nicely between them. I might need to tweak this where it's going from idle to walk. It looks like he's shuffling his feet a little bit, but it's not a huge problem. It's something quite quick to tweak. Right, so just to explain what we've done in each of these state machines, each of these state machines, you're basically waiting for user action. You can see that. So you've got to get axis vector, which is basically the horizontal and vertical input. This could be you could specify this to be anything if you wanted to, but this is already pre-set up, so that's why we're kind of using that. So it's getting the vector axis. We're storing that in a movement vector and storing the magnitude into another variable, and then we're then using a controller simple move, and all of these are found through the action browser. You just type in the specific action that you're looking for. The smooth look at direction, again, it's based on the magnitude of the direction that you're looking at. So I need to set that to be up. There we go. I'm just quickly changing that. So smooth look at direction, it's basically going to be always looking forward towards the magnitude based on your keyboard inputs. The float compare is basically looking at the magnitude of your user input, again, what keys you're pressing on the keyboard. So WSAND, and it's calculating the magnitude of that, and if it's over 0.1 it then moves into movement. If it's not, it just stays within that, within this little sort of node here. And what this is doing is we're setting the animator float. So in other words, we're saying that this value here is below, so we're saying that it's 0, so it's not going to move from idle, hence why it's within idle. So now if it goes over 0.1 it then moves into the movement, and then same sort of thing, rinse and repeat. It's blending between these animations. So I'll set that to 3.5. Same sort of thing here. It's getting the axis vector input. Control the simple move. It's just plugging in those variables. Smooth to look at, again based on magnitude. It's plugging all those values in based on the user input, and it's just saying, right, okay, if it's over or less than 0.1, drop back down to idle, but it isn't. It's still over 0.1 because we're still pressing the keys. And then if we then get key down, it's waiting for us to press spacebar. So we've then pressed spacebar, so then it's jumping through into the run. So then it's waiting for us to press the spacebar up, which would then just drop us back down into movement. It's then setting this animation switch on via this. You can see there the value is on, it's ticked on. But then if we come out of that, the animated bool, it's then set to be off. So let's just have a quick play. There might be a few little things that we need to tidy up, which we can look at. The next stage of this is to look at, it's not so bad actually, like blending between the walk and the run. Yeah, that works okay. Pretty happy with that. The next thing to look at is a special action, so maybe a jumping animation, and then taking it a stage further by looking at climb animations. So we'll be looking at slightly different workflows for that. We'll be looking at IK setup within Unity, which is a bit different to how you would generally approach it within Maya. So there's a lot more setup work if it's something that you want to explore. But the next stage is going to be another input, which will be a jump animation, and that's what we're going to look at in the next video. So it's just how we then go about those. So we could be running, jump animation. We might want to walk, or you might want to go from an idle animation to sort of jump up to a ledge, things like that. So that's going to be the next video. Okay, so any comments, any problems, let us know, and I'll take a look at it. Okay, thanks.